It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Shady. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show on this Monday morning. Always so good to have you with us. And it's time right now, you know, when you hear that tune for our daily tech digest. We talk all things tech with our friend in tech, Brian Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Great to have you.
Gracing us with your presence, my brother. What an interesting time to be alive.
Right.
We talk so much about what's happening off planet. Let's go inside, way inside, our own bodies.
Yeah.
Is this technology? Is it organics? Is it physiology? We have now been able to recreate in a lab blood vessels. So let's start with biology first. Why is this such a groundbreaking thing? What do blood vessels actually do within our body? Why do we need to replicate them in a lab?
Awesome. So blood vessels are the structures in the human body that are responsible for carrying blood and oxygen, as well as nutrients to muscles, tissues, and organs in the human body. Specifically, why they're so important is obviously they ensure that very vital function, and a number of diseases actually do impact their function, which we don't necessarily understand too well. For example, diabetes or high cholesterol, hypertension, for example, can impact their function.
One of the biggest killers.
Yeah.
One of the biggest killers.
All right, so then with this development of organoids, why is it so significant?
Definitely. So let's maybe start off with the last part of that first. So organoids are essentially a structure, so a human structure grown, bodily structure grown as a result of stem cells in an environment not within the human body. So essentially they mimic the function of an organ. What makes this so remarkable is that in 2015 scientists first succeeded in creating artificial blood vessels through reproducing it through plastics. However, this marks the first time that it's actually been reproduced through a function from the human body.
Out of human tissue.
Definitely.
Have we gotten about 10% of the way of being able to grow a actual human body?
Because blood vessels make up quite a significant part of the body.
Are they at a point where they can actually start implementing this, you know, with conditions like you say that we are still scratching our head with, conditions that we've dealt with for a very long time? How close to being able to use these in an actual kind of, sort of operational sense are we? How close are we?
That's a great question, and this is actually what makes this advent so exciting, is the sense that when studying diseases or the degeneration of blood vessels, naturally a person can have a range of factors that might affect their degeneration. So, for example, their diet, exercise, perhaps some genetic factors. The ability to be able to grow these in a petri dish essentially means that we have a total blank slate to see how they might degenerate over time and what treatments could prove successful.
So the testing and the research side. Wow.
Definitely.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, man, but I think very, very exciting for the the medicine fraternity and where it might be taking us in the future. Indeed, share your stories with us that you found interesting in the world of tech on social media. Use hashtag Expresso Show. We'll have more with Brian later on, including hashtag the 10-year challenge and how you might have just fed into the biggest plan ever that you didn't know about.
Again.
Oh, man. All right, okay, look, we've all been doing it. Hashtag 10-year challenge. It was fun, wasn't it? But was it? Brian Smith is here to tell us about this phenomenon that's taken over the world. I think people are still scraping through years and years of memories to find that perfect 10-year balance to go, oh, I was a scoreboard, now I'm a yellow bone. Oh, the difference money makes. Kind of vibe. That's what people are going for. But
I had hair, I have no hair.
So how did this whole 10-year challenge even start, right?
So that's a great question. As you alluded to earlier, this has gone absolutely nuts on social media from the likes of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Users all around the world have been comparing themselves 10 years ago to now, as Zoe. So what's perhaps really interesting is perhaps like all the best memes and viral sensations, this doesn't really have a discernible point of origin. What I mean by that is there's no specific celebrity who decided to create this challenge.
So what you're saying is Russia, basically.
It's just totally Russia.
Cool.
But what this is essentially a challenge that people all around the world have taken up without any prompting whatsoever.
So now let's talk about these rumors that this is actually a plot that has been initiated to gather data. What's going on there? How does a perspective like this come about, and why does it make us so nervous?
Definitely. So I think this comes after a really bad year last year for social media companies
gone,
like
yeah.
Facebook specifically, where trust is at a low point. Specifically, what the allegation is that this challenge has been a means for social media companies to gather data on how the human face might develop or how its users' faces might change over time. And perhaps that's not necessarily the most surprising conspiracy theory. However, it is a bit outlandish for a number of reasons. Specifically, an artificial intelligence or machine learning system that would need to analyze these photos really thrives on a lot of data.
Yeah.
And what that means essentially is you'd need to compare a heck of a lot more than just 2 photos of yourself 10 years apart.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But in all fair and warning going into the future, could a similar trend or an idea like this be used to collect essential data that could, obviously usher us into a new way of interaction on social media? I mean, you talk about walking in New York
Yeah.
Times Square
Is
and
it all
some
bad?
camera just captures your face and boom, there's an ad that perfectly relates to the kind of things that you're interested in.
Definitely. So the 2 different things we need to consider is that, firstly, this is possible. However, what we need to consider is that no social network, at least at the moment, has come up with a tool that really enables its users to create these posts easily. This has more been the case of social media users creating these images on third-party services and then uploading them to their social network of choice. If social media companies actually develop this kind of tool, it might be a cause for concern. However, perhaps the greater threat lies elsewhere. If your phone, for example, uses facial recognition, you're taking a map of your face every time you unlock it. That kind of data will eventually be stored somewhere, and ultimately it can be used or abused in different senses.
Let's get real here. Is it happening? So often we kind of live in denial, thinking that these things aren't happening. Yet we are constantly striving for that singularity where technology brings us everything we want instantaneously. We want that. Then we complain about the fact that technology is running our lives. How close are we to this? Do you think this is going on and will be an eventuality? Is it going to go this way?
So there is some interesting research been done out there, especially by security agencies in the United States, to map out this kind of data over time. However, there isn't specifically, at least, a project that we know of that's out there that is trying to map each individual person over 10 years or a similar period. What we do know is that there is general research being done to map out similarities in human faces. However, trying to sort of put every person on the planet under this kind of surveillance would be a really tricky...
China are using facial recognition at the moment, and they've caught thousands of criminals doing it. Yeah?
And we pretty much gave them half the database of the 10-year challenge. Now, at least they know what we all look like now.
I'm going back to a number digital code on my phone. That's number facial recognition.
All right. Well, that's a roundup of our tech news for the day. Brian, as always, thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Do you feel better or worse now about that?
I don't know. It's just Black Mirror all around. Let us know which stories have caught your attention. ExpressoShow.com is where we're at online. And, of course, when you interact with us on social media, #ExpressoShow.